injury is going to happen, that sickness is going to happen, and they weren't ever expecting it. I mean, for example, going in MMA, did you have health benefits in MMA?
No.
None of these athletes really have health benefits in MMA. There's if you got hurt while you were with a big organization, you got hurt during that match, they're going to do something right there, but it all depends on if you broke a leg or broke an arm or broke a hand or something like this, or need some stitches or concussion. They'll take care of those.
That immediate injury, they're not going to take it long term.
Yes, exactly.
That's the injury happened in the ring or the cage. But
then now the repercussions, you have to live in that body after that. And that's the hard part about that is if they're not going to be there holding your hand. You'll be you're gone.
And they may not pay for the physical rehab. You know, they may pay for the surgery. If they do, then you're lucky. You know.
But the ongoing either rehab or whatever other aspects, no, it's not going to.
Yeah.
So that's where it's, the injury aspect is just one aspect of it. I've always been really big about preaching options. Making certain that you have more than one iron in the fire, because being about in the fight industry, you have a game plan, your opponent has a game plan. It's basically the same game plan. Somebody's going to come up on the short end of the stick of this game plan here pretty quick. And that's where you always have to have option B, C, and D going. Option A is always going to be that tough one.
Well, the thing is, your plan is, I'm going to win this guy, I'm going to beat this guy, and I'm going to have $100,000. Okay, I'm going to go buy this watch, I'm going to go buy this car, I'm going to buy this snowmobile. You never plan for when you lose, you know?
Right. Or you don't figure out, well, how much is Uncle Sam going to take out of this win? He's right there.
30%.
And Uncle Sam didn't step in there. He wasn't in your quarter. He didn't do nothing for you. So it kind of makes you mad there when you lose that kind of money there as well.
Well, he lets you in the greatest country on the planet. You have the opportunity. And that's the thing, like somebody said, I don't know who said it, but in professional sports, you don't have a career, you have an opportunity, and the opportunity is very small. That window of opportunity is very small. And if you get hurt, it gets either really smaller or it gets closed,
Yeah, I mean, truthful statement. I've seen lots of athletes have come and gone, and it's especially when you see not only just come and gone, but that they're no longer here, and they're a lot younger than what we are. That really saddens you that their careers not only were their careers shortened, but their life was shortened as well.
Well, like in pro football, they say the average career is 3 years, right? Or 2 years, and that's not very long. And in pro fighting, it's even smaller. You and I got lucky. We stole like 10 more years.
I kept trying to keep quiet about all that. There's just so that it's kind of didn't want to bring any attention. It's kind of going, that's still over. Oh, okay, yeah.
I fought for like 13, 15 years. I don't know. How long did you fight for?
It's basically, I just say, it's close enough to simply say 20. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But
the last 10 probably shouldn't have.
But I'd say probably in that last, 5, 7 or so years of my career, I already had a lot of promoters and promotions that liked me. They like working with you. They know your personality, stuff like that. Like, hey, I really like working with you there, Don Frye. Let me feed you this guy. Let me feed you that guy. They're all real fights.
Yeah.
But they're feeding guys that it fits more to your advantage. I
never had that.
I did. I mean, I was very fortunate that a lot of the promoters they like me, and they're like, they say, "Dan, what can I put you on?" I go, "I want a big guy." Right. It would be like, how big? Like 300+ pounders. And they're like, what? We're like, why?
5'2", 300 pounds.
but again, how many of these promoters were actually competitors, past competitors.
Right.
They're not. But from the physical aspects, people look at, wow, how big that person is.
Right.
They're impressed by this physical presence, stuff like this, but the reality is, how quickly can they move?
Right.
Not. How good is their cardiovascular going to be? Not. So it's kind of like, I basically looked at, I was setting up things to where I was stacking the deck in my favor.
Yeah.
It's still going to be a real fight. I still got to win it.
Right.
I can't just throw the banana pill, hope he's going to whoop, step and flip, fall down, and
You look at his weight, you look at his height, you look at his age, you look at his record.
Yeah. Well, but again, just to touch on that point, when you and I first started, you could not jump on the internet.
Right.
I couldn't see, this guy I'm about to fight. Look him on up.
Right. We didn't have that.
We could go to SureDog, or I could go to fullcontactfighter.com and I can Google your name, and now I can see all these video clips, and I can see all this footage and know, literally almost all the where do you live, and the whole, that's something that exists. We were basically like flying by the seat of our pants. And yet one of your training coaches, Rich, here a little bit earlier, and simply just to talk about, how did you train? Basically, everyone was kind of like flying by the seat of their pants. Well, let's do a little bit of this striking stuff. Let's do a little bit of this grappling type stuff. So there were no manuals. There were nothing, again, that you could Google and say, I want to be an MMA fighter. So you can do that now.
Yeah.
But not back then.
Now they're all mixed martial arts gyms,
Yep.
Back then they were boxing gym or wrestling or judo or Muay Thai or, they were separate.
Yeah.
And then overnight they went from Muay Thai to MMA, gym, or karate gym to MMA.
You go to any bar on a Friday or Saturday night, they'll be wearing a UFC shirt or a ball cap, and I'm thinking most of those people, they can't even spell the UFC or MMA.
And if you spot them, the F,
little do it, but they got enough, just enough of those barley pops in their system that they talk the good talk.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
I just saw one Yahoo with fighting gloves at the bar.
Really?
He had the UFC shirt and gloves.
That's probably not a good thing. He's already prepped you right now.
Yeah. That guy I'll stay away from. He's a dummy. He's looking for trouble. I don't want to go to jail.
Do they stop fights too soon these days, you guys think? Because often you see the referee jumping in there.
I think so. Some of them, they should have stopped when they started. They should have never been in the cage.
That's a tough call on a referee. I know the referees are trying to do the best decision that they possibly can make.
Well, they're trying to protect the fighter.
Yeah, but when you look at the reason I'll even bring this up is that most of these referees have never been a competitor.
Right.
Okay, same way most of the referees have not been competitors. Even the judges have not been competitors of mixed martial arts. I had the opportunity. It would have been like 2 years back, inside Phoenix, Arizona, that they held the ABC national conference, where they had literally over 400 different participants that came in, between being certified as being a judge of MMA, but then also being a referee of MMA. And it was a week-long type of a deal that they had, but they brought in all the various state athletic commissioners. They had basically 40 out of 50 states were represented at the event that I went to. Well, the Arizona State, the state of Arizona athletic commissioner touched base with me. He asked me if I was going to be in town at that time, and I said yes, I would. I was going to be. And he said, "You mind that Monday morning?" He says you're going to have all these various state athletic commissioners, and would you speak to them? And I'm like, about what? You see, I'm good when it comes to just Q&A. Ask me a question, I can flat my app forever. But simply to go up to,
No, I didn't know.
okay, but to go up to make a speech, no, I'm not good at making the speech aspect. So, basically, I just asked, well, what do you want to talk about? He says, well, you're that guy that's been with this industry from its beginning, from the NHB to what it has transitioned to MMA, goes. Just want you to talk about some of the aspects of it, and what's good about it or what's bad about it. I go, well, I think I can handle that. So I sort of reluctantly said yes, and so then I go, and my fee will be. And now he got choked up. Okay, I said I want to attend both classes for refereeing and how to be a judge. He's like, why? Yeah, I said, I've done both roles, but I have never taken an actual class. Back when it first began, it was just no NHB. I had already implemented rules at that time for amateur level, no holds barred, and then pro level, there was risk, but there was a reward. You're fighting for money. Amateur, there's no money on the amateur side. You're just trying to see, do I have the skill sets, the tools to progress on? And so I had different rules, and I basically pretty unique set of rules. It was actually hard for me to get. I was even doing a lot of the matchmaking because I knew all the questions to ask. It's kind of like as I'm asking a question, how long have you been training MMA? Or again, there's no holds barred. How long have you been training your NHB career? What kind of a grappling background do you have? What kind of this? That I did, but then I would have to go back. What did you do in high school? Did you participate in high school sports? Football player. Okay, at least most of the guys, most of them did not have any. They just wanted to jump in the cage and fight because they thought they're a tough guy, but they had no athletic background. But if I knew that you played football at least 4 years, you're used to being banged around in football. Okay, I give you a little more credence. But if you're like a wrestler, again, for those same 4 years, I'll give you a little more credence because now you can take people down. You might both throw some people, things of that nature. So I give you a little bit more. So that was a lot of the matchmaking. But so basically, try to make the long story short, I went to 2 different classes, and at the beginning of each class, they had each participant stand up, state their name, where they're from, and what was their background. Were they a former competitor? Did they do any training, or were they just a fan? And out of 400 people per class in these classes, there might have been four or five actual former athletes, and that just boggled my mind that they're like this. And so the Saturday, Sunday, I go through both classes, same day for both classes. Monday morning, it's time for me to go speak to all the state athletic commissioners. So I get there about a half hour earlier, and they're in a heated dispute as I walk in. And in this heated dispute, they're talking about what represents a downed athlete. Is it 3 points down? Is it 4 points down? Is it 3 points down but bearing weight? Is it 4 points down but bearing weight? I'm thinking, and then they kept bringing up John Jones' name because he a lot of times would put down that third point, but he's not bearing any weight. He's just putting his hand down on the mat. And it just, they actually were so hostile that that the national representative had walked up there and just said, fellas, let's take about a 15-minute break. Go get some drink, go hit the restroom, stuff like that. Come on back. And then we'll have Dan Severn speak to us. Now I'm thinking to myself, great. I've got a hostile crowd to speak to now. I got all this. So they all go, they come on back, and then they're doing this. They did a nice introduction. They showed this little musical montage of crash, bang, boom, and stuff like that. So I think, how can I get these guys laughing out of the block show right now? And I'm like, watch all this crash, bang, boom. I'm like, once they're done with the little montage, open it. I'm like, well, fellas, how many of those techniques right now that I do that would be construed as being illegal in today's MMA world? Oh, they start to that because literally, like almost 100% of the things of the way I was suplexing people and doing what's known as 12 to 6 elbow strikes and things of that nature. And you're like, oh, they just, they started cracking up. And then I went into this. I go, what some of you guys know because you saw me in the class the last 2 days between the referee and the judging. I said I came in because I wanted to go through the classes, and I go, there is and I said, you guys need to get more former athletes to become a judge. You need more former athletes to become referees because there's a different mindset. And as we watch things, we're watching things in a whole different light than someone who just has only just watched it all their life and they're just a fan of it. I go right now inside the room here, and I point across the room there, I go, yes, the most recognized referee, you got Big John McCarthy here right now. I said, let me just, you guys have been arguing about 3 points, 4 points, 3 points better weight, 4 points better weight. You got Big John McCarthy here right now. Big John McCarthy's out in the cage. I'm on one side, here's my opponent on the other side. I said, Big John points to my opponent. He says, are you ready? He nods his head. He points to me, are you ready? I nod my head. He said that old famous line, let's get it on, because he's listened to a little bit too many of Marvin Gaye's songs right there. And I go, and I drop down to an all 4 point stance. And I do the fastest bear crawl he has ever seen across that octagon cage. At all times, either bearing 3 or 4 points on that mat. And they will have to be bearing weights. Otherwise, how could I have propelled myself forward? And I will get right in there where I'll slam into my opponent's legs to where either I move up into a clinch or I will slam into and choke him down. And I'll have him right where I wanted without ever violating the rules. And these guys were all stumped when I said that. And Big John McCarthy comes up there and goes, that's why he's damned to be Severn. He goes, he's that guy that he knows how to manipulate those rules. But I go, but my whole purpose here is because having more athletes on board to give you guys that kind of feedback. That's what you need, because how many of these UFC owners, how many MMA owners, company owners, are former competitors? They're not. And yet they want, again, I'm not trying to speak poorly of them, it's just that they don't think the same way that the athletes is. They've had either more rules or they have more ways of protecting the athletes. Kind of just like we were talking about before, about should these companies be taking care of these athletes? Well, if they paid their price for you to give you all this coverage, something like that, there should have been some type of fighter's fund or something like that put into place to where if a guy is hurt and he's permanently hurt, there's got to be something put in there, because what's he going to do? Go sit on a curb with his coffee can and hope someone drops a couple coins into it. So again, there's a lot of improvements that still need to be made to the company, to all of these MMA companies. Again, I kind of refer to a lot of times just to UFC only because they're the most well-known company that's doing it.
Right.
And it's just I look at it for everything we talk about. You want the best element for the athlete, the professional athlete that is out there risking his body to where he could cause irreparable damage that will affect his life for the rest of his life. So that's all. I know I talk too much. Go ahead.
What was the question? I was said before, they have amateur and they have pro. I think they need to have a semi-pro, because most of these guys claiming to be pro are semi-pros. I think as a pro, you're making enough money to live off of your sport.
Okay.
Where, everybody else is working. So, okay, the guy's a plumber, and he works 8 hours, then he goes to the gym for 2 or 3 hours, and that's what he does. He's a plumber, Joe Plumber. But so he's semi-pro. You don't need to claim that you're a pro fighter until you make enough money, in your fighting career.
There would not be very many people in that pro category.
Right.
I mean, even the guys that are on some of the big venues right now, they're still not there that they can be independently, because they might get one match.
Right.
And one match isn't going to carry them for the next 30, 40 years of their life. You're going to realize what's their window of opportunity. They're going to be doing this in their 20s to maybe early 30s to mid 30s at best.
And you're a semi-pro, because couldn't sustain a lifestyle off of your sport.
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't get to claim you're a pro.
Yeah, go ahead. I could definitely see the category of amateur, pro, but then have that
Semi-pro in there, and you have a different set of rules. You have a different set for the amateurs. You have a different for the pros. So when you graduate from amateur to semi-pro, you still have, you know, a separate set of rules than the pros do. And that's to protect the fighter, you know. Maybe it should be a 3-minute round, you know, instead of a 5-minute round.
Again, I think for an amateur,
For the amateur
and semi-pro, I mean, to me, it's like you could be, you know, maybe at the 3-minute mark for maybe the amateur. You could be at the 4-minute mark, maybe for the semi-pro, and then by the time you're pro, you know, now you do these 5 minutes.
Now you do the 5-minute, yeah.
You get to use that as one example. So,
Right. But you only give 4 rounds for a main event as a semi-pro instead of 5, you know. That way you're protecting that fighter, you know. You got you know, softer rules, you know, for those guys too, to try and protect the fighter.
Yeah, I could definitely see something like that happening.
Yeah.
Who was the biggest nutcase in the early UFC days?
That was a tournament here, bit. That was just a tournament here.
I don't know. That's a hard question.
Oh my God.
How was it like dealing with John Peretti?
I never dealt with John Peretti. I was already in Japan at the time. I only met him once or twice. Did you?
I mean, basically, I think I only ever really met him just on one occasion, and I did not like what he was trying to sell me on. So my mother's trying to raise me. If I can't say anything next, maybe I shouldn't say anything at all. I'll leave it on that note. How's that?
Was there ever any drug testing at the weigh-ins during 90s MMA?
No. Hell, I didn't even have weigh-ins.
Yeah, in the beginning, it was no holds barred. There were no weight class, so there used to be just called it was a press conference.
Yeah.
So it was just a press conference.
Yeah.
Showed up to the Friday press conference and
tell them your numbers.
Yeah. Basically, then they would. Well, again, were they still? Did you know who your first opponent was, or did they pull out like my first UFCs? It was they pull out a bingo ball machine. You showed up to the Friday night press conference. They basically just would, you know, you'd have a mediator behind the podium. They would go through, you know, contestant one, stand ups, and your name is, and again, you know, I'm just throwing out. Okay, this is Ken Shamrock. He stands this foot tall. He weighs this, and his background is this and this, and then he has a current record of this. And then they go to the next person and go down the line. Then once they announce who the 8 different individuals, which once again, the internet did not exist at that time.
Right.
So you're at the press conference. You finally see the other 7 men at the event. Then they pull out the bingo ball machine. They've got 8 different balls that are in there. They all have a name on them. Spin out. Okay, here is Don Frye. Okay, spin number 2. Okay, now here's Ken Shamrock. So you find out right now on a Friday night. Okay, your first match is Ken Shamrock, and everyone's like going, well, okay, who is this guy and what is his background? Because the internet didn't exist.
Right.
I couldn't simply Google him up at that point in time and find out all this type of stuff. You fly it by the seat of your pants. So
they're blind, completely blind.
And you go out there, you do your first match, and while you're back after your first match, you're trying to either watch or have your corner scout what's happening in the match. You're trying to get whatever rest you can, which it's a 2-hour pay-per-view, and you're going to be out there pretty quick because you got 3 matches tonight.
Right.
So again, when you look at what it once was and what it has changed to, you know, how many athletes would be able to endure 3 matches in a night today? I mean, what I'll say there is a difference in the athlete today. The athlete is much more well-rounded.
Right.
There's a lot more skill sets. They go into way longer training camps.
Right.
But but how many of them could endure 3 matches to know that they didn't get hurt, they didn't get cut?
It still comes down to toughness.
Yeah.
Who's fucking
Grit.
tough enough to grit? Who has enough
Let's see
grit?
there. I mean, let's see who's our picture in the background here that was almost that has some true grit.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be
John Wayne.
There you go.
True grit, buddy.
Had to work it. Had to work.
Did a great job, man. Did a great job.
Who would have won? I guess both of you could answer this between Don and Hoist Gracie. We already got Don's answer.
Say that again.
Hoist Gracie and Don. There's a fan asking on here.
Don.
Don Frye.
Yeah. Again, Don. When Don stepped into the ring, he basically was the most complete competitor because he had a striking background and he had the wrestling background. And he had the judo background. So he basically had 3 different pedigrees he came into the octagon with. That's where I was just good at not getting hit. I just kept hands up there to keep carried away. I mean, hardly ever did you ever see me even make a fist. Most of the times, my hands would just sit open because I'm looking to knock away and get to clinches.
Dan was with the big bear. He's like
just to wrestle. I was just popular just to wrestle.
That Leonardo, what's his name? Leonardo what? The actor. DiCaprio when he got raped by that bear. That was Dan. Dan just took people down and raped them. He just mauled them. He took them down.
I don't know. See, I've had Takayama say the same rapey type of thing, but it wasn't exactly the good way you were saying that. Yeah, I think, geez, Pete, it's kind of like going, huh?
I thought that was the Iron Sheik's gimmick.
Yeah.
There are some more fan questions, but do you mind if I just change the battery on this camera for a second?
Better do it fast. We're leaving.
And for the people watching this on the stream, this is being recorded with a good camera. I'm only using the stream so you guys can ask some questions. Wrong battery.
I didn't know we were going to go this long. I just wanted to say one thing.
Oh, okay. Well,
And then Dan Severn started talking.
Oh,
Lord
throw
have
me
mercy.
underneath that short yellow bus again. I tell you.
Lord have mercy, man. There went the night. Hey, the next thing you know, there comes the sun.
There comes the sun. Whatever happened that singing career of mine, yeah.
I don't know. You wasted your money.
It was only ever closing time at the bars. I don't understand that. Me. Yeah.
Cleared it out fast, that's for sure. Warning people, let Simon leave or we're going to let Dan Severn not save the scene.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Clear out that bar.
Hey, they want you guys to arm wrestle.
Yeah.
Bye.
I'm looking at
No.
We're reading live comments. They're awesome.
What?
They're live comments.
Queen.
Oh, you see the? I mean, it don't matter. It's still. I think.
No, just funny because I'm watching.
Are we still? Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, we're still filming.
All right.
The camera, the owner left.
Streaming.
Well, we should be talking about Hannibal.
the
Mental state like that.
That goddamn Hannibal, but jeez Louise. Fucking amateur. Jeez.
Well, I wasn't expecting you guys to go again. I'm not complaining, but I didn't charge the battery because I thought we were heading out.
Well, I guess you are now. Thank God. I'm sorry. Sorry to see you go.
Well, this one actually has 50 minutes. Well, I'll just let you guys go.
Ramble.
So is there like a question too that we can?
There is
Let's go
questions.
through a couple of questions because that'd be easier.
Justin wanted to know how tough was Kimo.
I never fought Kimo. I don't know.
Neither did I. So
His dad was a very good guy. I met his dad a couple of times. He gave me a ride in Hawaii, picked me up at the airport, and gave me a ride to the hotel. And very nice guy, man.
Wade wants to know This one's for Don. Who was your favorite wrestler to be drinking buddies with? Because I know Dan doesn't drink.
It would have been Hawk from the Road Warriors. Met him that one time. We on the same card, and we went out and drank till the sun came up. We come out of a bar, and there's the sun. Hawk's like this. Yeah, he was a good guy, and I think he passed away 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
You know, but
Mike
was a good guy.
Minus both Road
Yeah.
Warriors now. Mike and
Right.
both have passed on. So yeah.
Yeah, Animal was just recently, and that was pretty shocking. Do you think Hawk would have done well in MMA? Because he was supposedly a guy that used to love to fight, but street fighting is a little bit different.
Right. Well, that brawl for all, is that what you did?
Yeah.
For the WWE?
Yeah, that was Hawk. I don't think Hawk was in there.
Hawk was in it,
Oh,
and
he was?
he lost Billy Gunn, I think. Or,
Oh, Bart Gunn, yeah, he was knocked out.
yeah, knocked out by Bart
Okay, yeah. It just tells you how much I was watching, huh?
Gunn. Right?
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't.
So much for scoping out, scouting out your next opponent.
but I was not invited into it in the first place. That was the right part. When they were announcing all this, they when they had all the road agents with all the athletes back into the cafeteria area, they're telling them about this concept of this brawl for all. But then they said the only two people that are not allowed to be into it is Ken Shamrock and Dan Severn. And I had one of the road agents. I go, if I'm not going to be in it, do I have to sit here and listen to any of this? And he's like, no. So I left. So it was like.
Took your ball, went home.
Yeah, it did. But then, like a few weeks later, they're running this event, and I'm just sitting back there, just waiting to see if I'm going to be on tonight's show or not. And one of the road agents comes up to me and says, "Hey," he says, "How would you like to be in the brawl for all tonight?" I'm like, "Against who and how much?" They gave to me a name. They threw me a price tag. I go,
Sure.
"Okie dokie."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could either of you ever be friends with Ken Shamrock? Somebody is asking.
Sure. I don't have anything against Ken. I think he's a different, kind of animal, but so is Dan Severn. Dan's a different kind of animal.
At least I'm housebroken, okay?
Yeah,
I don't think Ken is, though.
I got a lot of respect for Ken because when we fought, he came to fight. He did a hell of a job, I thought, man. I thought he did a hell of a job. I was really impressed with our fight.
Dan, Joe wants to know if you could talk about wrestling in Turkey.
Oh, he probably heard some of my Turkish stories.
Eating a turkey or wrestling a turkey?
That's in November, okay? I mean, that was my very first true international experience. I mean, my very first experience was I did a tour of Canada. But my first really big international trip was going over to Istanbul, Turkey. And we're supposed to go up against young Turkish wrestlers. This was junior age group, so between 16 to 18 years of age. And so we're supposed to go up against Turkish wrestlers between 16 and 18 years of age. And my first opponent was like a 35-year-old military Turk. So, I mean, he's fully aged and he's all muscled on over. And he's got his buzz cut and meanness and ugliness all intertwined. And he's looking at me, at 18, I'm much younger looking. I've got a lot more hair on my head, stuff like that. And when we started going to wrestle, he grabs a collar tie, but as he grabs a collar tie, he grabs a wad of my hair, cocks my head back, and he headbutts me, splitting my eye, and then to add insult to injury, he pulls a wad of hair out of my head. So as I'm backpedaling, my hands up here because the blood's trickling down, I'm looking at the referee like the match should be over. My opponent should be disqualified for unsportsmanlike conduct.
The referee warned you about stalling, huh?
Exactly. The referee looks at me, you're passivity, you're stalling.
Yeah.
And they did, even during this time frame, there were no concerns really about blood pathogens,
Right.
things of nature. You actually wrestled with a handkerchief inside your sink. Because
Right.
basically just reach in, grab a handkerchief,
Wait.
wipe the blood, shove it back in, got after it. But I'll say that it motivated me to where, oh yeah, when I took it down, it's kind of like there's a technique known as a crossface. You can be kind of nice, put it in there like this. If you're a little bit more motivated, you simply rear back.
Rear back.
Yeah, I rear back, pow, popped him into their chop there pretty good, and I know I basically broke his nose. Is why I look at it because I had blood coming out on my arm from his nose, and then he started to fight into my forearm, trying to take out a chunk of US grade A, and that's when I always tell people my cheese kind of slipped off its cracker, and then I hooked down and I started rolling on up there because I'm trying to shove that. I'm gonna use my bone. I'm gonna shove that short little chunk of cartilage up to the black hole of space, and they can go bury his carcass out. And the same dude, I don't care. This is me or him, and I choose me.
Right.
And that's when referee blows the whistle. Referee is cautioning me for passivity. Oh no, caution me for doing an illegal move. Into the round, basically into the round. Referee sends me back to my corner. I'm a bloody mess. Referee sends my Turkish foot back to his corner. He's a bloody mess. His coach is so angry at his athlete because this weedy-looking American is beating his athlete that the coach pulls out a stick about the thickness of a broom handle and proceeds to beat his athlete to motivate him. So when I started climbing the cage and stuff like that, I'm thinking, hey, I can speak the language, and at any point in time, I can do this thing called a tap out or say, hey, Mr. Referee, I had enough fun for tonight. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so been hurt far worse in my amateur wrestling career than I have been in my MMA career.
Oh yeah.
Actually, been hurt probably far worse in my
Pro wrestling.
professional wrestling career than I have been in my MMA career. It's pretty sad to say, but the same thing you did was climb the cage to fight another human being.
Yeah, it's safe. Yeah. It's a lot safer than pro wrestling.
But you had but you had how many boxing matches did you have?
I had 8.
Okay.
I had 8. I think.
Now were these all amateur level?
No, I had 1 amateur back when I was in the 8th grade, and
Okay.
then I was doing good. Boxing, boom, knocked the guy down. Through the ropes, he's hanging, gets up, breaks my nose, blood. Oh, you talking about blood all over the place. Referee stops, and then my mom and dad. My mom's going crazy because her baby's hurt.
Yeah, can't get blood
Yeah.
bleeding, you bet.
Yeah, just like a stuck hog, And they hauled me off to the Davis Monthan Air Force Base down here because we were fighting here in Tucson. So they hauled me there. The guard, stops the car, wants to see some IDs. She chews his ass out, My son's blah, 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 blah.
Mama Bear came
Yeah,
out. Mama
yeah.
Bear, you bet.
He goes back in that fucking hut, shuts the door, locks it, waves us on.
That's a pretty good ID right there.
Yeah, then we
Mama
get
Bear.
to the hospital, and let's see, we're sitting there waiting. Finally, the doc comes up. She chews his ass for taking so
Making
long.
away.
Yeah. My dad finds a place to hide, and then they get that done.
But did they have to reset your nose? Or
Oh
anything?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I had to go back a week later to reset my nose. Back then, like that. I'm going backwards in the chair. I'm, 8th grade with 15 years old. I'm screaming like a woman, boy. I tell you what, you hear me yelling from here to El Paso.
Wow.
Don, someone has a question for you about your Pride entrance music. Do you know that your Pride entrance music was from a PlayStation video game called Test Drive? And what did you think about your entrance music in Pride?
No, I didn't know. I really didn't pay much attention. I thought it was the same music everybody got. I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm saying, by that time, usually when you prepare for a fight, you're in a different zone at
Yeah.
that point. That you're
Television.
yeah, exactly.
The whole place should explode and burn down. I wouldn't know it, man.
Yeah.
My television was so bad.
No, but that's a good thing because you're constantly just on that one element there. You don't need to worry about anything else. You just simply need to know about that.
John wants to know from Don if it's true he had a backstage altercation with Jerome Labanner after your kickboxing match.
Not that I know of. After he knocked me out, and all I remember, I was drugged up, going into the fight. I'd taken one pill too many, and I remember going out to the inches thing, and then all I remember is waking up in the locker room and fully dressed, already showered, changed clothes,
Wow.
and sitting there, woke up, talked to Bill Goldberg. Said, what am I doing here? Bill said, well, you lost.
What was Bill there doing? Was he like a
Pardon?
What was Bill doing there? Was he a commentary or was he?
Nah, but I think Bill came there and was doing a pro wrestling match for somebody else.
Oh, okay.
And,
On the same card, so they had a picture.
No,
Okay, all right, okay, and a different type, all right.
something different. Bill's one of the nicest guys. Have you ever met him?
Oh yeah,
He's
no,
such a
great,
nice
great guy.
Yeah. I can't, you sit here all day long talking about how nice he is. What a good guy he is.
Somebody on here wants me to ask you guys about the Bohemian Rhapsody song from Queen. Is there some sort of inside?
He wants him to sing.
Oh, he wants him to sing it.
Sing a little bit of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself and Freddie Mercury. Bullshit.
Oh, no, it's a great song.
There was another guy that was asking what
That's take Abbott. I remember the first time he said that. The head singer, his name.
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury. He said because he made the comment because after I balled him out and that was my match in Elk Road, but he's like what kind of guy he goes I think he said I felt like I just got raped by Freddie
Mercury.
And I kept thinking I didn't know who Freddie Mercury was at that time, but I knew that it came from Tank. It was going to be no compliment.
Right,
by any means. So,
right.
Yeah.
Say Abbott go fuck himself.
William wants to know if you realized during your Vlad TV appearance that they blurred your Trump hat.
Yeah, I found that out afterwards,
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad that we're in the United States where you should be able to express your opinion, wear whatever you want to wear. So that's pretty sad.
They didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so they blurred out my Trump hat.
Upstate Strong wants to know who do you guys think is the toughest professional wrestler that didn't do MMA?
I'd say Haku and
Yeah.
Tonga.
Yeah. No. Haku would definitely fit a picture or something like that.
He was
I think
fucking
there
nice
was
guy.
a few different wrestlers that could have actually gone in. I mean, Steve Williams.
Yeah.
Could have been an MMA because he actually already had an amateur wrestling background. Maybe he wrestled at Oklahoma University. He could have done.
Oh, you're talking Dr. Death.
Yeah, Dr. Death.
I thought you were talking about
No, I mean,
the other Steve.
oh yeah, gotcha. Yeah, no, so there are guys that actually had some legitimate backgrounds to where you really don't know. You really don't know how they would have done.
Well, you don't know until you get punched in the face.
Yes.
I mean, you see a bunch of wrestlers came into the sport who were Olympians, gold medal Olympians, and they got armbarred, they got punched, they never did another fucking match, so I don't give a shit how many world championships you have in wrestling or skateboarding or bicycle riding, until you get punched in the face, all that means nothing.
Justin wants to know if being a firefighter helped you at all for MMA. Did the mindset help you?
Yeah, absolutely. because you know there's a lot of close calls in the fire department. You know, and it teaches you. You know, John McCarthy asked me one time, "How come you're so calm before the fight?" Oh fuck, John, I'm not gonna die. And it almost proved him wrong when Goldberg got.
Actually, that's a great question though, because I mean, firefighters, they run into a burning building or something like that. They don't know what's all inside there.
Right.
That could be the last thing they ever do is they may not come out of that building. So you got to have that mindset.
Absolutely.
Your life, your first responder, your life is on the line.
Absolutely. You know, I did it. I loved it. It was great. You know, great career.
Robert wants to know, what is each of your tastes in music?
I like old country western and old rock.
I'd say it all depends on what I'm doing, because if I'm doing a workout or something like that, I want something that's a lot more upbeat. You know, like old rock and roll definitely would be one of the genres, but then there's sometimes like late at night if I'm mellowing out, there's some certain classical type of things I can get into at times. I know, kind of sophisticated. Huh?
Yes, Beethoven. You went to school with Beethoven.
I knew that moment that you said that. That was like, yes. It was Aristotle, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still debating who invented the bicycle and who invented the telescope.
The wheel wave, yeah. The wheel, yes,
Pro Wrestling Streams wants to know, which wrestling promoter would have done well as an MMA promoter?
I mean, I think a lot of them would actually fall in that category, because I mean, if you're looking for just promotions, that's I think a lot of different professions will fall in that same category, because all it is, they're looking for hype, and that's again, I'll say that the beauty of professional wrestling is taking something, and you know, basically taking nothing to making something out of it. I mean, that's the real beauty.
Like Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon would have been great in anything. I mean, he could sell you a turd, make you happy about it, you know.
I'll take your word on that one.
You know, and then Dory Funk Sr. Dory Funk Sr. was a great promoter, you know, and shit.
Elliot wants to know who each of you think is the best amateur wrestler of all time.
Of all time?
Oh, shit. A couple guys from Okie State. God, I can't remember. They became pro wrestlers, but they're even older than you.
Is that possible?
It's scary.
Well, and, you know, there's several people that could fall in that category. I mean, I'd say that Dan Gable fell in that category at a younger career. Then you've had other people like a Chow Sonnen from Iowa State University. Cheryl, that drug like
Sanderson.
Sanderson, yeah, there you go.
Sanderson. Kel.
Yeah, Kel. So I mean, it just all depends on what type of a time era that you're looking for, because you know, the sport of wrestling has been around so long now that how far back can you go? Because many people fall into that category that they were really good during their time period, and their time came and went, and then other people. It's kind of like, you know, when you look at, I had a good run when I was with the UFC. Don had a good run when he was UFC. Just different time periods. So you really can't. It's kind of hard to really throw people at comparisons, because each time marches on.
And you know, once again, it depends on how you had these guys, you know, going to kill Sanders, you know, and other guys. Well, if they'd have done such a great fucking job, they'd have got in and done it. But they probably got punched in the face before and said, you know, piss on this.
And if you take that one equation that Don Frye talked about, getting punched in the face, and then you look at that match between him and Takayama, there is nobody else that I can think of
Stupid
that got punched in the face that much too many times, and he's still here to talk about it. So
still good looking.
ta-da! Right there.
Still beautiful, baby. Still beautiful.
E. Kingsley is wondering how you guys met.
It was on a dating site.
Yeah, that would go over today. Today's as a kind of like, well, this particular day, I had to my sexuality was favored. Yeah, right.
I went to a gay bar, asked for a double. They brought on a guy who looked like me.
I mean, at Arizona State University. I was coaching at Arizona State University, and Don was one of the athletes that was there. I mean, yeah, I know Don on a much more personal basis. Don lived with a couple of my younger brothers, so I know Don on a much more personal type basis there. So
And he got me a job my first summer at ASU.
I did?
Yeah, you remember we did the Olympic
oh,
barbell stuff.
oh, okay, yeah, I love the gift price. Yeah,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, worked in a pickup truck with no AC
Well,
during the
yeah,
summer.
yeah, that was rough.
Yeah.
That truck.
Moving thousands of tons, you know.
Yeah, weights.
I don't even know if we had a dolly. Do we have a dolly?
I think that's what we were calling each other.
Yeah.
Carry this over here. Carry that. Yeah. No, it was a lot of hard work. Yeah, I actually had a number of different wrestlers that worked through there. The gentleman that's I could go with the story. That's the story.
Well, I gotta see a man about a horse. So he's gonna tell another story. I gotta tell you.
All right.
He leaves me. Don Frye leaves me to hold down the fort. It's okay. All right.
Well, he's drinking a lot of water today. It's good for his health, I guess. Jofo in the ring wants to know your thoughts on WWE putting celebrities in the Hall of Fame while other more worthy guys such as Sabu, Rob Van Dam, and yourself have yet to be inducted.
Yeah, that's almost worthless for me to make a comment at. I mean, I just be just doing who's on the selection committee that goes in? Who does the voting on this? Is there an actual physical Hall of Fame? I mean, once again, we go back to the aspect of professional wrestling. What is professional wrestling? Professional wrestling is very politically motivated. There's a lot of wonderful athletes that have been involved in professional wrestling that they'll never be working at one of the really big companies just because they don't want to play the political games of things. And that's, there's nothing wrong with that. It's, even when you look at like a UFC Hall of Fame, are all the guys that are in that? Should there be others? I know about a few others. Like there's not a Weiser Frank Shamrock in there. There's a few other people that can be in that same type of category that, by all rights, are deserving to be there. Just professional wrestling. If I simply look at it this way, based upon some of the people that have been inducted in there, should Dan Severn be in that Hall of Fame? Oh, hell yes. I've accomplished way more, but it's gonna.
More than Drew Carey?
Well, I don't know about that one. You got me on that one, Hannibal. But yeah, just based on some of the people that they have inducted, yeah, I should be in a Hall of Fame like that. But it's I'm not going to play politics with anybody.
Someone wants to know your thoughts on the Diaz brothers.
Well, I'll say that I don't know how to put it. I mean, interesting characters that I mean they like to smoke up, but they bring game. They're willing to take punishment out there. They're willing to dish out punishment, and again they help to show that by partaking of CBD type products that there's merit and good to utilization of those kind of things. So I've got no problem with the Diaz brothers. They've been very entertaining to watch. They've cut some pretty comical promos at times, so I'm good with them.
What did you think about? I forget if it was Nick or Nate in the ring with Anderson Silva when he was doing the thing pretending to sleep.
But I don't know.
You didn't see that?
I don't think I even watched that one, so I could be confident about that. Let's hold down the fort the best I can.
You still telling that story?
Same story again. It's kind of going. I just had to record, repeat.
Yeah.
Someone was asking Dom what kind of hunting you do, if any?
Years, but, you know, we used to go deer and elk and bird, and then we go to California, Northern California, hunt them wild boars. Yeah, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Was the Katie Vick thing a shoot? Was that you, Dan, involved in that?
Wasn't me. I don't even ever heard Katie Vick.
I don't know what's the story.
I know it was the Schniz Goku can fill us in more on that. Someone else was asking who are some of the nice people in MMA and wrestling that you've met.
Don Frye and Severn. Now quit asking those stupid questions.
We all know you're not the biggest fans of Tank Abbott.
No, how do you tell that? Come on, now you're putting words on her mouth.
Favorite food to grill? Someone's asking.
Steak. What the hell else is there to grill? Just put it on long enough, burn the hair off of it.
Well, I'm not that hardcore. I like my blood through a little bit more, and I do like chicken as well. But,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I know. It's just kind of like I almost watch it there, Mr. Fry. Man, well, okay. I'm just one of those.
All right,
Okay.
we might get that match tonight.
Versus Antler, I'm with them all day long. Okay.
Keep that in mind there, boy.
Okay. Point. Well taken.
Point.
Yes.
Red.
The judge gives that point. Mr. Fry. Yes.
Don, Danny wants to know if you put seasoning on your steak or you just eat it like rare like that.
No, I seasoned it with soy sauce, garlic, and horseradish, and some salt.
What was your diet like, Don, in your prime?
I ate 6 or 7 or 8 times a day. I'd eat every 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, and maybe that's why I'm broke. Maybe spend all my money on food and fuel. And shit, I'd eat whatever the hell I could, whatever slow enough for me to catch.
Wow. That's a lot of meals a day.
It's a big door.
Doosan wants to know, Don, this is for you, whiskey or beer?
Depends on the circumstances,
The occasion, right?
the
Depends on the
occasion,
occasion.
the temperature.
Also depends on what kind of cigar you have going there.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
I know Don fought a lot more in Japan, but there's a fan asking, compared to Japan and the U.S., where did each of you guys like performing more? I know, Dan, you wrestled more in Japan than
Yeah,
fought.
I actually like the Japanese audience. They seem to really appreciate things, and even though the first couple times like doing matches, they're always quiet.
Yeah.
But then it's like, oh, gee, I don't think they really enjoy this match. But then all of a sudden, oh, you just the way in unison, oh, it'd be that they would go as I go, well, don't they? I think they're a lot more deeper thinkers.
They're studious, you know. They
Yeah.
study the match, and like you said, it throws you off because you think you're taking a shit out there because there's no cheering, but you know they
Yeah, no, it is. It just, but then when the match is done, the applause that you get when the match is done, it's really just it's kind of a unique experience compared to an American audience.
Well, it was pretty even. I was fighting in Pride. Hell, they do the wave for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Someone wants to know if Don had any interaction with the Yakuza during his Pride days.
I'm sure I did. Yeah, I'm sure I did.
Michael wants to know the biggest misconception about MMA that the general public has about it.
Biggest misconception. Well, definitely it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of armchair quarterbacks think that they can do it,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they should not. But I
Yeah.
can't think of anything else other than that.
Yeah, there it is. People are fucking dumb enough to watch it and say, I can do that.
Yeah.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Have either of you done any ribs in wrestling?
Yeah. Yeah, when I was at Brad Reagan's training, Brian Johnson and I Brian had some cream cheese that, out of those little packets, and I put it in Kurt Hennig's boots, and Brian and I are up in the ring pummeling, keeping an eye on Kurt, and he saw it. And he put it. He thought. I guess he thought it was me, but he took it out of his boots and put it in Brian's. I guess he thought Brian's boots were mine. So I got them both.
Don, someone wants to know if you remember those UFC intro videos where the girl would be pouring you drinks before the show and predicting results.
Oh, what's your question?
Okay, but that was Predator's prediction.
Predator's predictions, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't UFC.
Yeah.
Okay. What happened to those? This guy claiming that he's John Jones wants to know. I don't know if it's the real John Jones, but I doubt it.
Wants to know what?
What happened to those predictions?
Why did they cease? I mean,
Yeah.
That's a better way of asking.
Stuart Wilson, who is Bruce Willis's stunt double for the last 8 or 9 years, he produced them, and I guess they just got to be too much money to do. So they cost too much money because Stewart was doing everything through SAG, and so when you go with the union, it costs you a lot more to do stuff, and so he is paying SAG wages to the girl and to the camera guy, and the editor, and so just got to be too much money.
Sick Ghost wants to know, Don, if anyone got mad at you for calling Paige VanZant a piece of ass.
I don't know. Did I call her? Or did I call Nisha Tate piece of ass? I think Paige would have liked it. Paige, what happened is I wanted Paige to sit on my lap, and I think it was the following year when I inducted Sakuraba into the Hall of Fame. After that, I went back to the hotel, and there's Paige and Uriah Faber, because they were a couple. And they were standing right next to the bar, so we were talking, and I blew it. I should have grabbed her then and got the picture. But shit, she loved it. She got mad at me. She says, "What the hell are you doing? Not talking about me and talking about Misha Tate."
What are your thoughts on Sakuraba? Both of you, Justin is asking.
I think he's fantastic. I think Sakuraba and Takayama-san are the, two of the greatest fighters, and the two brothers. God damn, they're gonna kill me.
Japanese brothers?
Yeah, the Hawaiian Japanese brothers.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah. God damn it.
Well, just to play off what Don just said right now, for Sakuraba and Takayama, they were both working for the UWFI organization when I was first going over to Japan, and they were kind of at the almost at what they call the green boy type status. Green boys meant that they had to mop the floors, sweep the mats, cook the food at the dojo. So they were basically like a low man on the totem pole. And they actually were really kind of being mistreated a great deal. So to see them both kind of rise up and become stars in their own rights, that was great to see.
Don, did you enjoy working with Toho Studios? Uncle Lou wants to know, do you have any stories about that?
Absolutely. I love Toho Studios. It's fantastic. One of the best things that happened to me is working there, Hell, they had the pool out there, and after the Godzilla movie was over, they drained the pool and filled it with cement. And, that was a shame because that was such an iconic piece of history, and Ruhei Katamura, picked me for the Godzilla movie. That was awesome. I had so much fun doing that movie. I told them I had a fight coming up. I needed to train. They said, "Oh, sure, no problem. You can train while you're not filming." And one day I was like, "Okay, I need to go lift weights, go train." "You can't do that. You have your makeup on and your wardrobe." Oh shit! So there went the training. So when I fought, I lost.
Kurdlot Farms wants to know, Don, where did you learn how to shoe horses?
Anyway, I learned it. Started with a guy named Stony Newfing. I worked with him, and then I found out about the fire department. So I got on the phone, called up all the towns in Arizona. Nobody was hiring, so I called up New Mexico, called up Santa Fe, and they were hiring. So I went over there and tested and got hired there, went through their academy, and then I was there for 6 or 7 months, and we couldn't afford to live there anymore. And so I brought my then wife back home to Sierra Vista, and I went off to Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma Horseshoeing School, and did their 12-week program and came back home and worked for a guy named Tyler Basinger. I was his apprentice for 6 or 8 months until he got tired of my bullshit and fired me. And hell, I was working for him, Tyler Basinger, and I just started my own horseshoeing business. And then I was a reserve on a fire department. And then I also worked at a mental hospital for juveniles, So I had 4 or 5 jobs at the same time when I first, trying to get my life together. And then it went from 5 down to 4, from 4 down to 3, and 3 down to 2.
Any bad accidents that ever happened in shooting a horse? I mean, did you have like a really bad experience, or too many of them?
Yeah.
I mean, when you think about an animal that big, that powerful, and you try to shoot it.
Oh, most of them are real good. Some of them you got to get after, But you got to be calm, and you always don't turn your back on them, Especially a mule. A mule will wait 20 years to fucking kick you. He'll get it eventually. But I've been bit, stomped, thrown, kicked, shoved, but the thing that hurts the worst is when they rake you in the eyes with their tail.
Oh,
Because, their hair is real thick and coarse. When that crosses your eyeball, boy, it freaking hurts because they know what they're doing. Yeah.
Justin wants to know, what do each of you consider your biggest accomplishments?
I don't think I've really accomplished anything yet.
Well, you got a house full of titles.
I mean, but you could actually, when you look at that, what is your greatest accomplishment? There's different sectors. I mean, there's different things that a person's done at different phases of your life that have those titles to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think you could ever really put one element there. It just all depends on where you're at in life and what are your priorities. You might have fulfilled those priorities at this age, but now you've got new priorities. Set for yourself, new goals.
Yeah, you got to set new goals, and that was my problem. That's where I fucked up in college wrestling. I wanted to go to college and wrestle, and I wanted to be on the team. That was it. And once I did that, I didn't set any new goals. I didn't say, okay, I want to be Pac-10 champion. Now it's Pac-12.
Exactly.
And then, or I wanted to be Big 8 champion. I don't know, the Big 10 now. I don't know, but and then say, okay, I want to be an All-American. Okay, I want to be national champ. I didn't. I set my goal and I got it, and I didn't think bet more and set another goal, you know.
Now, normally I wouldn't bring up politics too much, but I know that Don is a big Donald Trump supporter. There's a fan on here, Ome One Dragon, wants to know each of your thoughts on Donald Trump.
I love him. I love Donald Trump. You know, he got cheated. They stole the fucking election. Anybody who doesn't think so is a fucking idiot. You know.
I'll simply just go with ditto. That summarizes. I don't have to go back into it anymore. So.
Jay wants to know.
Okay, now let me elaborate here a little bit more.
Okay.
What was your choices when Donald Trump was running for office? What was your choices between Donald Trump and
Biden?
No. Okay, no, that was okay.
The original one.
Okay,
Hillary, right?
Yeah, you had your two choices. That's what you gotta look at. It's like most of the time, I'll say when you're voting in your presidents, I'm gonna say this bluntly as this: you're trying to vote in the lesser of the two evils.
Right.
Because most times, before Donald Trump ever got into office, you did not know what he was going to really do. I mean, because what do most politicians do? They promise you a lot of empty promises,
They sell you a bag of shit.
and they don't do anything. So basically, you vote for the lesser of the two evils. I mean, I always tell people I voted for Obama because what was my choice? I had Obama or Hillary Clinton, not just to vote for. So what are my choices? You know, you try to
McCain.
yeah. You just basically you vote for the lesser of the evils. It's kind of saying it's not the people's choice. We didn't elect these candidates to try to run, but when you look at a track record, I always say that what makes more sense to vote into office, a business person or a lifetime politician? I would rather have a businessman any day than a politician, because a politician, they talk a pretty good game, but how many of them really do anything that they really say? They're not accountable now for what they said. So I despise most politicians because they just give you empty promises and then they're not held accountable. That's probably really what the biggest problem here in the United States is. No one is held accountable for what they do or don't do. Because you have people that empty promises. You got media that are putting out false propaganda, and they're not being held liable. I mean, there's so many things that are happening that are wrong. It's Don said it best. I mean, there's going to be a real reckoning that's got to take place to really put the United States back on its true path. I mean, it's sad. It's a sad state that we're in.
And I don't think voting for Trump was lesser of two evils. I think Donald Trump was a candidate you wanted to vote for, you wanted to put in there because you knew he was going to, make America great again. That was great, man. That was a great slogan, man. He did it. He brought jobs back.
Don't give me a hard time. I voted for Donald Trump both times. But I go say, prior to Donald Trump coming in, because he was a proven commodity of what he did.
Yeah.
No empty promises. I mean, all you got to simply do, okay, just simply look at it right now. What has Biden done? What did he say and what has he done? He's done more damage to the United States.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah. And it's going to, Americans are going to suffer. American people are going to suffer. And that's the sad part. Again, politics and empty promises it's sad, and these guys are held liable for what they said. How's it going to affect them? It's going to affect them. It won't be affecting most of the politicians because their paychecks are still coming in. Their health benefits are still there. They have better health benefits than what you and I have. And gee, whatever happened to the Constitution? The Constitution starts off with "we the people." It doesn't start off us and y'alls. No, that's good. People need to be held liable for what they say and what they do, and that is across the board. No one is gets a free pass.
Well, they did because they stole the election and they told us to go kiss their asses, you know, and we rolled over and we took it. You know, I just can't believe it.
Elliot wants to know, since you guys live close to the southwest border, your feelings on immigration and immigration reforms.
Immigration's okay. I don't have a problem with immigration. It's illegal immigration that I got a problem with, you know, and we needed that fucking fence. And that's one of the reasons that, you know, they ganged up on Donald Trump. They stole the election because he cut off a lot of money going illegally to the fucking congressman. You know, they can't get the, you know, you think they don't get a cut of the goddamn drug money, you're out of your mind. You know, I mean, they let it go for so long. You know, that all these illegal aliens are coming in, the fucking children to bring it in, the human trafficking. You know, you're against fucking slavery, but you're allowing human trafficking coming down through the south border. Human trafficking to slavery.
Tippy, just to answer your question real quickly, it wouldn't matter if I live close to the border or far away from the border. Doing it the right way still needs to be done the right way. That's all I can say about it. We need to wrap up here shortly.
Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up like as soon as I change this battery,
Okay.
and then I'll just go into the end.
Yeah, because the FBI will be banging on the door. You all better get the fuck out of here.
It's time to go.
I gotta put on my glasses, my mustache disguise, and get out of here.
We're talking to you about that. It doesn't really work.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. There you go. You still
Your partner never mentioned to me that we never plugged the podcast in this one for
Oh, yeah.
the people watching.
That's right. Lisa told me that.
One person said that
We need to do a
you guys do a
podcast.
podcast. One of the statements I read.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I can't read that.
Can't read that, lady.
Speak up.
Don and Dan, 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Bunch of
Somebody,
people the best.
Dude, that's,
No,
you're gonna make a shirt. Yeah.
I don't think the world would be ready.
they're not
for
ready for that. Nah.
There'd be too much correction, you know.
last question.
And it would be a much better place.
Yeah.
Last question before I ask you about your podcast. Someone was asking earlier about Ben Askren, your opinion on him. He's got a fight coming up against Jake Paul, the guy that's an extremely popular social media guy. What are your thoughts on that fight coming up? It's a boxing match, and of course, Askren's a wrestler.
Yeah, I've heard some hype about this, and I actually think it's the other Jake that has been actually the one that's been the instigator. Is that, am I correct on that?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, I don't know why he's pursuing that one. Again, Ben Askren doing a boxing match. I don't know what Ben's. I mean, his pedigree is all wrestling.
And he got knocked out real hard.
Yeah,
with
well,
that.
with that flying knee, and that was, you know, because I know that prior to that match, people were asking me, who do you think is going to win? I said, well, I don't know what Ben's been doing for his hands, but, you know, I simply know that if he gets a hold, that he'll do very well if he gets a hold of somebody, because
Never had a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
But Masvidal's a different animal.
Yeah, you know,
Masvidal's a fucking animal.
and I give him all the credit for what he did. And he had a game plan, and he executed that game plan precisely. So he did great with that. So as the thing that has come up several times in the course of this interview is that everyone's got a game plan until you get hit in the face.
Yeah. And,
Getting hit with the hands one thing, getting hit with a flying knee, that's a little bit more velocity.
And Mike Tyson, I love Mike Tyson, but he didn't come up with that. You know, everybody's got a plan until you get hit. George Foreman said that back in '74, you know, or when he fought Ali, and I think somebody said it before him, So that's the saying that's been around for 100 years.
So what's your prediction on that Jake Paul fight against Askren?
Well, better be Ben. Better be Ben.
Yeah, I would say that I would just not knowing the other gentleman's background whatsoever. I just would be looking at that Ben Askren would be putting in the time. He's a very accomplished wrestler. I would think that he'd be putting that same work ethic to work for him in
Yeah, he's a very good athlete.
To tune up whatever boxing skills that he can and whatever time frame he has to do it with it.
He knows how to train. He knows how to train hard and study and learn.
I believe Jake Paul had a very quick knockout against a former NBA star on the Tyson versus Roy Jones undercard.
Yeah,
and
a basketball player and a wrestler or fighter is completely different. Completely different.
Now, someone was brought up earlier. Are you guys going to do a podcast? Well, you've actually already been recording them. You recorded one earlier today with Rob Schneider. We will be putting some clips of that on this channel, but you want to tell us a little bit about your podcast, where people can...
We should just tell the name here so far. Toxic Masculinity.
Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity.
And this is the gentleman that came up with this name, Toxic Masculinity. Because we're just living in it. Well, because we're living in a very strange world, strange times where people don't know what they are. I think they have to wake up in the morning and they have to flip a coin and go, today I identify
as a horse.
Yeah, I mean, it's just,
tomorrow I'll be a giraffe.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're living in strange times where parents are told that don't let their child say what sex they are. Let them
decide.
Yeah, let them decide a little bit later. I'm thinking, wow, well, whatever happened to parenting? I mean, again, I'll just simply say we are living in some of the strangest times where I really wonder where intelligence has gone in the United States. It's I think it has less different.
Well, yeah, people should mind their own goddamn business, and let the parents parent.
Yeah, people, again, what you do in your home is your home.
Yeah.
I always tell people, I could care less if you're doing naked cartwheels.
Yeah.
Just do it in your backyard, not in the front yard that I have to see it. Okay? Do it in your backyard. Hopefully there's a fence.
Yeah.
I could care less with that. That's some of the things, the privileges that you have here in the United States. There was the amendment that we had freedom of speech, but that's been being taken away more and more, being hindered to where that is being held against you. That's pretty sad.
Yeah, this politically correct bullshit that ruined the country and got us in a bad spot.
Yeah. And there needs to be a correction. It's okay to disagree. I mean, there will always be people on both sides of the fence on things, but there's a lot of things that are going on that so there's a lot of corruption that's taking place.
So for people that want to find out more about the podcast, I guess, Dan, they can follow you on social media, and you're going to be sharing this information.
Oh, yeah, I will, but I mean, I'm not. Right now, I kind of suck. I mean, if I have to say, just find out more. I mean, I took it to push my website right now, dansevern.com. Don, what would you say for best way to find out things?
I don't know. I've got to get a new Instagram because my Instagram got taken down. So,
but yeah, on my website, dansevern.com. I mean, I do have different social media outlets up. But I mean, it's if you look for just the name itself, Toxic Masculinity. I mean, that's you should find something underneath this. Isn't that correct, gentlemen? Okay.
Very soon, our first two podcasts will be broadcast.
And I guess we're not exactly politically correct type of individuals, but we're honest people speaking from the heart and being a little bit blunt and bold about things that maybe that's something that is
scary, frightening right now.
I mean, it's there's a lot of people that are afraid to actually speak their mind, and someone that doesn't mind being punched in the face, doesn't mind speaking his mind.
That's right. What are you gonna do? Punch me in the face?
Yeah.
Happen. You gonna break my nose? Happen. You gonna break my arm? Happen. You gonna break my knees? Happen. What are you gonna do? You know? Fuck.
Yeah.
And you already have a mascot as well for the podcast,
That's right.
I understand.
That's right. Dan Severn's the mascot.
Where are you at there? Where's our,
Yeah.
we got Quinn. Where's our
It's gonna, you know, Dan and Don's toxic masculinity is either that or was Dan and Don more better. More better podcast.
So what's the difference between this podcast and Joe Rogan's, for instance?
There's two of us.
There's two people, but it's okay. And who was the first guest? We know the second guest was Rob Schneider,
Yeah, Ray Cash.
Ray Cash, and
Ray Cash, or Ray Care. Cash was his call sign, you know, when he was in the
brains.
CIA.
Okay. Well,
He was a
SEAL,
Navy
the
SEAL.
SEAL,
He was a
the
Navy
SEAL.
SEAL and got out and went to work for the CIA. Hell of a guy. Hell of an American. Hell of an American.
All right. Well, I really appreciate both of your times today. I'll let you guys close it up.
It was about damn time. Holy shit, man. I said I'll sit down for 5 minutes. There we go, 5 hours later. One Dan Severn story. God.
all right. I think Dan Severn has left the building. All right.
Thank God.
Okay.